Just testing that audio, Stephen, to see if there's any popping and crackling in the background.
I must break you.
What you will hear is a fan whirring in the background.
Our only fan.
Oh, this is going to be a great show, this.
You.
I can tell you this is going to be a classic, Stephen, one for the ages.
Hello and welcome on into this Monday's edition of Entertainment News here at Movie Burner Entertainment. I'm one of your co-hosts, Stephen John McLaughlin. Our other co-host is John Christopher Walsh.
Looking
How are
like
you all doing?
Promethean.
Yes, John, I actually get confused because this is the second Monday that I've had off. I'm not sure if you were off last Monday as well.
This is the second Monday.
This is Coronation Monday, isn't it?
John,
I was ready to say Sunday, but I know we did stuff last night as well, so that kind of keeps me on track. But I mean, it's been what a day here in Glasgow, weather-wise.
Yeah, I thought it was Noah earlier, walking the dog. Yeah, I went out with the dog, had white training shoes on. Training shoes.
Training? I was in training. And words of Obi-Wan.
I was going to say trainer, Stephen, but then I realised that half the world, if not 90% of the world, don't use the term trainers. It's a distinctly British term. So I thought I'll fling shoes in. Went out with white sneakers on.
Yeah. Sannies.
White sannies on. Quickly did an about turn, got my jacket for my dog, put a black pair of mesh trainers on, and I was fucking wading down the road.
That was terrible. I liked your message, John. You were out swimming the dog.
Yeah, out swimming the dog.
That's what it felt like.
Unbelievably bad weather for me.
I travelled, I must have done about 90 miles today on the motorway, and I just couldn't see in front of me. It was terrible.
Has it been that long? Yeah. I've not looked out the window.
Yeah. It's been since probably about 11 o'clock this morning. It's just been torrential. But I seen two Scottish people talking about the rain as if it's something new in this country. Get a life, guys.
Get a life.
Get a life.
About Stephen, if I can.
But John,
infringing upon your personal
I don't know why I only picked one topic, because we're not actually doing anything other than the Oppenheimer trailer reaction later on. But I don't know why. Probably just force a habit, and probably something. Hi, like a warrior. How are you?
Like a warrior, sing a song that sounds like you're singing.
That takes me back to GTA. John, we're talking about Taika Waititi.
Yes, well.
Do you remember back in the day, none of us could say that right live?
Back in the day? That was fucking 6 months ago.
That was a solo show, wasn't it?
Taika Waititi. Taki, I was calling him. Taki. I'm a fan of this man.
Yeah.
I've been watching this man's movies for the better part of a decade, and I had one night where I couldn't see his name, and I thought I was having a stroke. But you know what? I went and cracked on with
I watched that show. I stood there and watched it happening. Are you both son and father? Yes. This is my father. This is my father. Yes.
No, we are not.
Somebody said that before, and I actually.
But who's the father? Who looks like the father?
Oh, it's definitely me, John. Look at the bloody wrinkles. And the grey
I look
hair.
yellow. I look as though I've got fucking jaundice.
Lego man. John, you said you mentioned
I look like
that
Stephen. I look like that mob. I can't give away your allegiance. There was a certain Scandinavian football team that Celtic played about a year back in Europe, and when we went up and played in the Arctic Circle, it was doing weird shit to the skin. In particular, these Norwegian players. I look like them right now. I don't know whether to be alarmed by that or not, but yeah.
Yeah.
I can't understand your accent. No one can, mate. No one can.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no. Well, I don't know if you don't get live subtitles on this.
No,
if
you
do,
don't.
they'd be pretty horrendous anyway. But
I could maybe start talking like this then, Stephen.
Taika Waititi, John, you touched on it. Both of us are massive fans of the chap. He did have a blip earlier on over the last few months with Thor: Love and Thunder, which it's not like him, but well, it is like him, but in terms of humour, but it just went too far. John, we'll talk about that in a little moment, because in terms of obviously the franchise, Star Wars that is, I do have concerns over this, not with Taika Waititi, but what they may be doing, which they've already done Marvel, and I know that DC are already doing it. But we'll get into that in a little moment. I'm just going to take this sort of first paragraph from this article from Screen Rant, John, which is on our screens. And it says, according to a report from Deadline, Waititi is still excited about the project and committed to direct that next year. While that doesn't necessarily answer any specific questions, it does seem to confirm that the movie will start production in 2024. Depending on when this production begins and how long the movie takes, the movie's release date is still unknown, but the confirmation of production is a bigger update than any. With so many projects on the horizon, Waititi's movie has the opportunity to fill in some space in the rapidly expanding Star Wars timeline. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was ever reported that it wasn't going to happen. It's just went quiet, that's all, because the big news, I think, from Kathleen Kennedy and the gang was that was the I'm trying to remember his name, Filoni, Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni, yes.
Him and some other
Jon Favreau?
No, was it not your man that did Wolverine, wasn't it?
James Mangold.
Was he involved as well in this Filoni thing? I'm pretty sure. Am blending two topics into one here? I can't remember.
He's involved in two movies.
Yeah.
He's involved in a sort of post-Mandalorian movie that's going to encompass that TV universe, blending into a sort of movie that's between, I think, the sequel trilogy and the original trilogy. But they're also doing some other prequel, High Republic era thing.
That's right, yeah, I remember
the dawn of
that,
the fucking Jedi or something.
Well, that
like
was the thing, wasn't it? And that was the big news that came out of Celebration from Kathleen Kennedy, was those things. I don't know if they mentioned the Waititi thing, I'm not sure. But my concern, John, is Star Wars starting to go down that road that Marvel already took when they obviously did the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor, the way they did Thor in the last two films. And DC are doing it now with Shazam, etc. Where they're taking a more lighter character and try to inject some, much needed humour. They would see it as. Do you think Star Wars is going down this road? Do you think Waititi has been brought on board to bring us a bit more light relief? Because when you look at Star Wars as a brand, everything is much the same. In live action, I'm talking about, not animation. Everything has that seriousness about it. In terms of tone, The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett are very similar. It's very similar. Yeah. And I would assume that Ahsoka, the web series, is going to be exactly the same when it drops on Disney Plus as well. It's going to be dark and it's going to be meaningful and it's going to have the same sort of undertones that those two web series have already produced as well. Do you think this is something that might be totally different?
Well, Stephen, first and foremost, I'm going to say to Like a Warrior, give me one reason to subscribe to your channel. I don't know, you like to listen to people who are perhaps sound Russian, German, French, Jamaican, anything other than English. Blah, blah, maybe blah. Maybe that's a reason. I don't know. Who watch movies? We do. I've never seen. I don't think I've seen any anime. But yeah, Stephen, getting back to what you says, I think this is going to be a change in tone in terms of comedy, and this is the rationale. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah.
For Taika to come in. Could be, Stephen. Also, Taika over the last 10 years has carved out this niche sort of. What's the word I'm looking for? There's a term, isn't there? Cult hero status amongst the sort of movie fandom for bringing a unique brand of humour.
Yeah.
And he's done that in multiple genres. And then he's obviously expanded out and became this kind of director who can do humour, can do real profound human condition stuff within one scene.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it certainly could be that
Jojo
they are bringing them in.
Yeah.
Jojo Rabbit's a perfect example. Yeah. I mean, you're laughing, then you're crying a minute later, and you're back laughing again, injecting some great music into it as well. That's not something you're going to see in a Star Wars project. But it could be he's been tasked with coming in and reviving it in terms of tone, giving us a little boost of comedic brilliance in there. But maybe it's just that they have seen how wonderful a director he is in terms of he can dabble with multiple genres. He's already had a huge success with Ragnarok.
Yeah.
He's known to the Disney brand. This was pre-Love and Thunder, you have to remember, the announcement of this Star Wars movie. So they weren't aware of how fucking bad that movie was. But much like yourself, Stephen, I'm willing to give him a pass on that. That's a blip in the main. The man has made wondrous movies. Could be.
Yeah.
They bring them in to maybe change things tonally. It could be, Stephen, that they know just how popular he is across the sort of movie fandom, and he's the type of guy who can come in and repair some of the wounds still sticking around from that Rian Johnson disaster, and indeed J.J. Abrams' complete clusterfuck that was The Rise of Skywalker. He's a perfect guy to come in. We've not had a Star Wars movie yet. Him following in the footsteps of Dave Filoni and James Mangold, that is potentially a hit, then a hit, and then another hit again. So maybe there's just, I don't know, there's a multitude of reasons for bringing them in. But Stephen, man, look, I don't know about Star Wars in terms of this blend of humour that we've seen injected into Marvel with obviously James Gunn and then Taika Waititi after him. I don't know if that's something that can be a success in the Star Wars galaxy. Star Wars is not Marvel. Marvel is comic book. That's its origins. Graphic novels, where that humour is already in an abundance on the paper, on the pages you're reading. Also digital now as well. Star Wars was never like that.
No.
It had humour in there, but it wasn't Marvel humour. No. And it wasn't Taika Waititi humour. It was
I should have. I should have said, John, I'm not trying to pigeonhole Taika Waititi into being a an all-out comedic movie filmmaker, whatever you want to call him, because as you said, he can write with heart. You know, he can write with emotion and really pull at the heartstrings, and we've seen that in the likes of Jojo Rabbit. 1 minute you're crying with laughter, the next you're crying because it's an emotional scene, and he's very good at doing that. He installs a personality. Even he did IG, didn't he?
He did,
and he installed emotion into that. You know, just with his performance, and you know, and we seem to forget he is a good performer as well. He certainly was in Jojo Rabbit.
He's a huge personality, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, so you've got to, I mean, I probably worded that wrong in terms of. Oh, Taika Waititi's coming in. He must be doing a comedy Star Wars film. I don't mean it like that, obviously, but
no, but you will freshen it up, Steve. Yeah. You're right. Tonally, just now, Star Wars is very fucking samey.
Yeah,
it is. Andor aside, Andor was a totally different brand completely. I've not seen that in a Star Wars setting ever. That's unique. Even the original trilogy, as brilliant as it was, those movies, Andor, I think, is on another level in terms of acting, writing, dialogue. George Lucas was never renowned for producing great dialogue.
My next question for you, John: does Star Wars really have to, or does Lucasfilm really have to go down the road of making Star Wars films now?
I don't think so.
Because they seem to be doing a better job at the TV series.
One final thing I'll say about the humour, Stephen, before we move on to that: Rian Johnson injected humour into Star Wars in The Last Jedi. Fucking phone jokes, prank calls, in Star Wars, terrible, and it didn't work. That's what you've got to be fearful of. When you start dabbling with different kinds of humour in Star Wars, it can be really good, it can rejuvenate it, and it can do what Ragnarok did for Chris Hemsworth and his love for that character, and perhaps Marvel with James Gunn and Taika as a sort of double-edged sword, bringing this humour in. But it could be Rian Johnson, and it could be a fucking disaster. So you have to balance the humour just right with Star Wars. You need to give us a compelling story, something that's not going to ruin the entire mythology, because Stephen, they get into it in here. This could be Old Republic. This could be set 800 years, 900 years, 1,000 years before the events of the Skywalker saga. That any changes to mythology, any introductions to things that we have not yet been exposed to in Star Wars, could have huge ramifications for the experience moving
once
forward.
It's in. You can't erase it, that's the thing, because we'd all love to erase the last 3 films. But you're absolutely right,
People
John.
are yearning for this Old Republic. I'm one of them. It's great, but you need to be fucking careful.
They need to do it right. They need to hit the ground running, because it'll be set in stone after that. It's part of the arc. And I mean, it's
Stephen, I totally lost your question though. The thing,
it was really just about the film side of Star Wars.
The films. I don't think so. No. I don't think so. I've been saying for the past year or so, if not longer, 18 months, after the success of The Mandalorian, wishy-washy stuff with Obi-Wan and Book of Boba Fett, although I was watching that Vader damaged mask scene with obviously Obi-Wan out long then, Darth. That's some of the best stuff I've seen in Star Wars in terms of acting, and it also gave a redemption to Hayden Christensen and his attachment with Star Wars. But Star Wars doesn't have to be movies, not for another decade. We're producing great content on TV. Stellan Skarsgård, Diego Luna, the people over. I mean, I watched Star Wars Celebration, the panel with the Andor people, from the concept artists to the set designers to the writers to the actors. They're singing from the same hymn sheet, and it's great.
Andor's birthed out of obviously Rogue One, and it's taken a film and producing a TV series based on the film and getting back away. But what they're doing now is they're taking the TV series of The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett, and probably Ahsoka as well, and they're going to make a movie based on that timeline and those events that happened in those 3 web series, John. I think that's the way to do films now with Star Wars. Do your web series, do all the sort of groundwork in them, because I think people accept the format now. I thought Mandalorian season 1 was a hard watch at times because I wasn't used to the sort of pacing and only getting 30-40 minutes per week. I thought it was hard to watch at first. You watch it in its sort of entirety, it's great. It's like a really in-depth film. If you watch them back to back, and it's probably about the same length as an extended version of a Star Wars film, because George was always about the 2-hour 20 mark, wasn't he? That was the thing. He
was always yearning for that 2-hour mark. I think his mantra was, if you can create a truly brilliant movie on the 2-hour mark, it's the sort of Shangri-La, if you'd like. It's fucking... I don't know, I was going to say something
Yeah.
there. But I agree with you, Stephen. I'll get onto that though, Mike. Star Wars fans will be split on any director. I hang out with Star Wars fans. Hate is real. It is. They're fucking weird people. I'll include myself in that, and I'm sure Stephen will.
Yeah.
They're weird.
Yeah.
They're never happy.
John, I've made my peace. So Lucasfilm can produce whatever they want. They're going to have to cater to all walks of life and age groups now. It's not all about the ones that grew up in the 70s and 80s. We've got to accept that, there's a generation, 2 generations, 3 generations since then, that like other things, and they've got more choice. We didn't have a choice back then.
No.
You didn't have Lord of the Rings and all the stuff that, Game of Thrones and stuff like that. It's all coming out, over the last 10, 15 years. Back then, you didn't really have much other than Star Wars or James Bond or some shite like that. Superman was another one. There wasn't that much to sort of go on, and you sort of invested your time in those films, those 3 particular films, and you don't want it to change. That's how I think that our age group, or my age group, John, because I'm your dad, obviously, when it comes to things like The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, that's that time period that I remember well. I'm taking that as a compliment,
because that means I clearly look younger.
And I look really old.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's, and there will be things, John, that'll come up, and there is things that have been suggested. I'm like, something, I don't really care, I'll not watch it, I'm not really going to get offended by it, because there'll be plenty of stuff for everyone now. It's not like 1983 all over again.
Well, see, to be fair, I wasn't alive in 1983. I'm not that fucking old. I wish I was, because it's got to have been better than now. Now, shit. Listen, all these young kids, man, now think they're fucking the shit, kicking about with these baggy trousers on, these baggy ass clothes, thinking it's the 1990s and the 1980s. You wouldn't have lasted 2 fucking seconds in the 1990s. It was mundane, boring pish at times. Believe me, people hype it up. Oh, it was punky. I'm the same. The music was great. This was great. You didn't have the internet, or you did, but it was shit. You had to go on and look at books. There was actual maps. You had to read a fucking map if you were lost. If you had to get a number, you had to go through a yellow pages to find a number. It was fucking tedious at times, man. Believe me.
Do you remember those?
And what you're
encyclopedias you used to get in a CD-ROM? I can't remember what they're called, but that was your internet. That was your knowledge.
Yeah. Just now, Stephen, from 2005 onwards, it's just the fucking same. Or 2000 onwards, it just feels like the same. There is no identity. It's pish. The decades are shit. The 90s was the last great fucking decade. The 80s before it, the 70s, 60s, 50s. Before that was fucking rubbish as well, let's be honest.
War.
It's fucking crap. I'll get back to that point, Stephen. I will get back to that point about the movies. I've got something to say on that. TV being the place to start it. You're not sure about Jojo Rabbit. Mike, I'm intrigued, mate. What did you think of Love and Thunder? Because I watched it and I was expecting it to be great. You've got Christian Bale as a villain. How in the fuck can it be that bad? But for me, it was really bad, and I feel so sorry for Natalie Portman, because that could have been truly special, what they did with that character, the whole cancer thing. I just feel like they tried to be too funny. They forced the humour, and this is the danger of what I'm talking about. Even with greats like Taika, who are dab hands with humour, if you don't get that balance right, it can be a disaster. And I feel like you try to push it too much.
Yeah, John, I just have to say that thanks, Mike, for using
the
Twitch chat, because we don't get anyone coming in from Twitch, so it's appreciated.
Just as well, because I've got no notifications or anything set up. I've been raided before doing live streams on Twitch, and I didn't know until it went to like 20 people. I've been raided. Sorry. Didn't know. Half the Star Wars fans didn't like Mandalorian season 3. Half didn't like Andor. See, with Andor, I mean, I was watching Jeremy Jans reviewing Andor, and he was very late at the party, and his rationale was that it was because of Obi-Wan and Book of Boba Fett. There was just sort of what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Apathy towards Star Wars as a brand, and he just wasn't ready to dive into something like Andor. But when he did get into it, he really enjoyed it. And I think that's the case with Andor. I can't imagine a Star Wars fan watching Andor and not liking it, because it is just outstanding. I get the fact that it's a little bit more dialogue heavy, it's a little bit more adult themed, but what they did with Mon Mothma and Luthen and fucking
John, I
Cassian,
think a lot of people's gripes were the fact that it was 9 episodes, wasn't it? Split 9 episodes into sort of 3 trilogies. different locations, different cast, and I think a lot of people didn't really like that.
As well, yeah.
I thought the first 3 episodes were kind of a bit slow, and I understand why they gave us them in a winner. But after that, John, I loved it. I loved the stuff they did in Scotland. I loved the stuff they did in the prison stuff. That was fantastic, as you said, Andy Serkis. Just elevated sort of quality level of that show as well.
And Cassian and no, that little bastard. Even connecting me with that.
But I mean, I'm looking forward to season 2. I can't wait to see it, because we're going to get K2SO in there, and everything's going to start falling into place in terms of leading up to Rogue One. So can't wait.
And if it's half as good as season 1, and I want it to be better, but if it's even half as good, what that's going to do for Rogue One in terms of the emotional stakes. You're bonded now over the course of what fucking...
It'll be what Rogue One did for A New Hope.
Exactly, it's like 15-20 hours of storytelling with Andor.
Yeah.
And K2SO. It's already an emotional moment when that character sacrificed itself.
I'd love to have saw a Jyn Erso series as well, John. I'd love to see her...
Kind of told her story though, didn't
it? I mean,
it
was booked. It was sort of what would you call that? Bullet pointed, wasn't it, throughout the film anyway? But just to see that sort of her becoming a rebel with Forrest Whitaker's character,
Saw Gerrera.
And just seeing her sort of learn her skills and stuff like that. But I mean, you don't really
Saw
have
Gerrera
to
as well in Andor.
Seeing
these different factions of the rebellion, it was just fucking great. I loved it.
Brilliant.
And that's why TV, you're absolutely right, Stephen, we'll get into it just now. I'll read some of those comments in a minute. You're bang on for me with the TV side of things, because if it's a failure, then you can sweep it under the carpet and forget about it. And it will still be expensive if you're
down the drain.
I was about to say that will still be expensive if you're maintaining those production values. But it's still not $200 million in a movie.
Financially, it doesn't matter what format it is.
If it flops, it's not as hard a hit on the purse strings as a $150 million movie. So you can put it out, and if it doesn't resonate, you move on and just say, right, it didn't work, we tried. You do it with a movie, it's fucking horrific. Even for Disney, they can't be writing off a $200 million movie. They just can't be doing it. And in terms of the creative content, it allows you to explore the character long form over fucking, in Mandalorian's case, 3-4 seasons before you then have a sort of swan song movie. You've bonded with him, you've bonded with the side characters. It just enhances the journey, the actual experience of watching the movie tenfold. And you're not worrying about trying to force everything into a 2.5 hour movie, get everything in, and then it dampens and lessens the actual experience of a movie. If it's a fucking TV show first, you can just marinate in the character and the story, and then the ice and the cherry on top of the cake is the actual movie. So I agree with you, Stephen. High quality TV content with fucking Hollywood top tier actors coming in, like your Pedro Pascals, Ewan McGregor's, fuck Natalie Portman's, people like that. You're not going to get her back because she's done Star Wars. But getting that high caliber content out on the TV, and then
Taika Waititi asked if she'd be interested, and she had to say to him, I've already been in Star Wars.
Who else said that recently? Someone did that with Marvel.
I'm not sure.
Was it Lawrence Fishburne?
I know, obviously, the one
Fishburne.
Obviously with Aaron Taylor Johnson's an interesting one. Suggestions of crossover with him being that Hunter chap.
Yeah,
and I'm
Craven
like,
Hunter.
I don't know how that would work, obviously, with him already played an MCU character, so I can't see crossover there. I can see him playing that, he is playing that character, but
it's the trouble with Josh Brolin as well, although he gets away with it because he was a big purple fud. As Thanos, he can come in and play Cable in a Deadpool movie, and I'm all for it. I love that sort of combination. Rough and ready, very serious Cable, but he's a kind of cupcake. He's got a soft inside, if you'd like, if that makes sense. And Deadpool, Wade Wilson, who's just balls to the wall, fucking crazy, not serious for a minute, growing out little baby legs. And I don't know what he was going on in the middle. I don't even want to think about that. It was dabbled with in the movie, if you remember Deadpool 2. But you can bring them back, but I don't know how it's going to work with Aaron Taylor Johnson. It was Lawrence Fishburne. I think he forgot he was in Ant-Man, and he was talking about how he'd love to be in a Marvel movie. I'm like, Lawrence, you were in a Marvel movie. Have you forgotten? I know it wasn't a huge role, but fucking hell, come on. Because him and obviously Scott Lang were having a sort of you-know-what measuring contest about how big they could get. I think Scott won, didn't he? With the whole ferry thing. It was that movie, wasn't it?
It was, Ant-Man and the Wasp,
Mike says, love it all. I'm even watching that kids show, The Young Jedi Adventures. I've not seen that.
Oh,
man.
I've not seen it either.
I need to start getting serious with Star Wars again and getting back into it hardcore. I was actually dabbling with more Claudia Gray books. I need to get back into reading.
Yeah.
Sharpen the brain up and the tongue up again. It's been a long time since I've read a book, and I need to get back into the reading. And I'm going to do some Star Wars, but I want to do some series stuff as well. I need to get back into the reading. I was quite the fucking reader back in the day, and I need to get back to that. I'm your old granddaddy. I'll be 60 on Saturday. Fucking hell, Mike.
Brilliant.
The big 6-0. Listen, don't be despairing about that. Be celebrating that. I don't want to see you old because you're technically still of working age, but I'll say it anyway. There will be a point when we're all old, hopefully, fingers crossed. And that's the point I was going to make. It's a sort of a luxury, an honour that most people, well, not everyone gets to see. Some people don't get to old age. I butchered it.
Yeah, well, best wishes when it comes, Mike.
Best wishes, yes, Mike.
Hope you have a party, lots of cake.
Well, hopefully you get some good fucking food, man. I watch a guy, man. Oh, he's so good. It's what I eat in a day. Americans have got it down with food, man. Yep. They may have an obesity problem in some states, by all accounts. I think.
Can you blame them?
Well, all that food, man.
Good food.
But fuck me, the amount of food places, it's just insane. I would be John Candy. I'd be probably Chris Farley, to be fair. I'm not as big as John Candy. Sadly, not 6'2". I'm more Chris Farley's height. I would be like him. 18 stone. Listen, I'm 13 just now. I need to lose the weight, but I would be like him. It was jokey, but I liked Thor: Love and Thunder. I mean, there was bits of it I didn't mind, but in the main I was really disappointed because I was expecting Ragnarok.
Yeah.
But Mike, I'm of the opinion just now that, and you'll disagree with me, because you are really a proper Marvel fanatic, and I am as well. Fuck's sake, I've got Captain America's shield behind me, and Mjolnir obviously. But Marvel really have to wisen the fuck up and quick. I need to go and see Guardians. Is Guardians out? Is it out?
It is, yeah.
I need to go and see Guardians. I have to go and see it. Apparently it's amazing.
Yeah.
So I need to go and see Guardians. I've seen every other one in the theatre, but they have to really start getting their act together and getting back to what made them brilliant. Telling brilliant self-contained stories, but just subtly connecting it all. They're worrying about connecting everything just now, and I think it's lessening the actual movies.
Yeah, definitely.
And we can't be having that because we've got so much to tell. Fantastic Four. I was going to speak about that last week. The rumours about Fantastic Four. I digress. I'll maybe speak about that tomorrow because I'm doing a show tomorrow. Calling it off again. Lazy prick that I am. Andor was incredible to me. Half of people that like it think it's the best Star Wars, and it is the best Star Wars, Mike. You're absolutely right. It's the best acting. That Luthen monologue is one of the greatest moments, along with Mads Mikkelsen's sort of hologram. Is that what you call him? Don't know why I was worrying about that there. One of the greatest pieces of
Galen,
acting. Yeah, Galen also.
Yeah.
Sort of speaking to his daughter across the
incredible.
The galaxy.
The music, John, the score in that film is fantastic. I was actually just, when you were talking about Andor there, I was just thinking, how ballsy would it be for Lucasfilm if they never released Rogue One and came in with Andor as a web series leading up, and then we get Rogue One. I'm just trying to think of the format they're trying to do now. They're doing the TV series. Imagine that, though. I mean, I don't think a lot of people would have connected with Andor, though. I think it's because of the success and the connection with the character Cassian Andor. But it would have been a hell of a gamble, but what a payoff it would have been.
Yeah.
To see Rogue One being the sort of finale of that story arc, in that order. I suppose you could watch that years from now, like a lot of people are doing, with episodes 1, 2,
and
3. Yeah, exactly.
And you get to watch Andor and then see that payoff in Rogue One. Wow. What an arc that is for that character.
Yeah.
Steve, I don't know about Andor being dislikable. I think
John, we get a few comments. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like it, didn't they?
Really?
According to comments that we had in our watch-alongs for that, a lot of people just couldn't connect with it. I think it was particularly the first 3 episodes. And
I'm not about the actual character, though.
Yeah, no, Andor, the character.
He's on a journey. Yeah. I mean, he's this sort of selfish, me, ruthless guy who then becomes the most selfless guy, if you like, at the end, with obviously Ginny finds purpose. And that's the most Star Wars thing I think you could possibly create. It's finding this rebel alliance of these different people from different walks of life, a melting pot coming together to face off against evil. I think that's Star Wars typified.
Yeah.
And this sort of fucking one guy, a small piece in a huge sort of rebellion. I think it's fucking amazing story. And just you can see the horrible nature of the Empire on ground level,
Yeah.
right up to the toppermost of the poppermost, if you'd like, the Sheaf Palpatines and the Tarkins. Fucking epic. I wish I could watch that and maybe get that Men in Black mind wipe thing and watch it from start to finish. It'd be unreal. But I can't. So fuck it. This is what I think about Star Wars fans. Each individual has in their minds that Star Wars should be. And when it doesn't fit into that mould, they are not happy. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
To be fair, we were guilty of that as well.
Yeah.
But I think we were right, Stephen. When it
All
came to
Star
the
Wars
original-
fans think they're right.
original trio should have been
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Luke would have definitely have fucking known about Han Solo dying.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing?
Well, John, that was I thought was the point of the sort of mourning look of Luke Skywalker at that end scene in The Force Awakens. I thought he knows Han's been done in, but he didn't. What the fuck was that?
I
What
don't
are
know.
you looking so broody about? What's that? I don't know. I
What's
honestly
this
don't know.
young woman doing here? I'm a fucking incel single man. I want to stay in this island with these weird nun fucking aliens for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I mean,
Leave.
they built it up as an emotional scene, and then it was wiped out within about a minute. The next
That's
film is
dreadful.
what? Waited 2 years? Yeah,
Yeah,
2015, 2017.
About
Yeah,
18 months, I think.
ridiculous. Just,
Yeah.
That's what happens when you don't get one director coming in to tell us the one story.
I think it was 18 months
Yeah.
from Rogue One
Yeah,
to The Last Jedi. It was 2 years from
yeah,
Force Awakens.
yeah.
Because I think they released the Rogue One in May, didn't they?
Oh, that was Solo.
Traditional. Was that
Yeah,
Solo?
yeah, that was Solo.
I'm
yeah.
talking shite then.
Yeah, because we went to see.
Yeah, we went to see it because I fucking got my dog, man. I
Yeah,
put the deposit down my dog, man, and that was
that's
in
right.
November.
Yeah,
Went to
yeah.
see Rogue One in December. I should remember that. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
Solo was the May one. Yeah, they thought going back to the traditional time would help the film. It didn't.
It didn't. All movies should come out at Christmas. They all should.
Yeah.
It's the only place to release it. Vision Season 2 was cool. Don't know what that is, man. Not
Yeah,
got a
it's
clue.
a Star Wars.
Is it?
Yeah, thing on Disney Plus. Yeah, I've not seen
Did
it.
you watch it?
Yeah, I've if it's live action, I'll watch it. I don't watch animated stuff.
You went to your nephew's wedding last weekend. Incredible party, awesome food. This is what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
This is what life is about. Drink and food. It all stems down to that. And it's why ultimately I pity people who have things like bulimia and food sort of
Yeah.
food disorders, eating disorders. What's the fucking point in living if you can't eat? What is the point? These people who are hyper fucking switched on about their diets. I used to be one of those people, and I wasn't even eating chips. I was getting McDonald's and not eating the fries. It's like, what are you doing? You're a fucking clown. You live once. Life's short. Just enjoy it.
So it's
If you
people
get
going
fat,
and
you
get
get
a
fat.
salad in McDonald's.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Are these people that go to like Five Guys or something like that, and they get a fucking water or a Diet Coke? Just
Milkshake.
Just go full. Yeah, this is what I do. I get a burger and chips. I get a fucking strawberry milkshake with it. Just commit. You'll
Yeah,
be
that's it,
happier
yeah.
for it. I saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 on Thursday. I loved it. It had every emotion that you can think of and wrapped it all in a movie. I can't wait to see it, man.
Yeah.
I really can't.
John, it's traditional that we do go to the cinema to see these
Yeah.
films. I mean, we should really be going to see most films
Yeah.
based on the fact we do a
Well,
YouTube
well,
channel and entertainment.
But
But
we'll go and see it though.
John, I loved watching Volume 1 and 2 in the cinema just for the community feel. Everyone laughing at the same time and everyone crying at the same time. Well, not us. We're a couple
we
of hard
don't
nuts.
cry. Yes. Only cry in the privacy of my own room. I project that I'm a hard man, but actually, you put a dog in a movie, and you do anything to that dog, I will be my fucking streaming down my cheek, the tears.
That
So-
was a low blow, wasn't it?
My
He'll be
dog's,
crying himself to sleep tonight in his huge pillow. He'd
Sorry,
Eat.
man, axe murderer.
done. He'd done now.
I'm crying just now because of a dog, and it's not because of anything that's happened. It's because of the flatulence that is assaulting my fucking nostrils.
So I married an axe murderer. That is one to watch along
It
with.
is,
I'm
yes,
telling
it
you,
really
what a
is.
film.
And it's been that long since I've watched it that I could probably do a watch along, and the reaction would be genuine. Man down, piper down. That's what all bagpipers should be doing. They should be down.
If
Get
you
the
want my
fuck.
body and you think I'm sexy, come on, sugar, let me know.
Shale Can, please react to Gulak series. We were speaking about what we're potentially doing next. It's about availability, Shale. So if we can get our hands on it, then we may just. We
Yeah.
have finished with Aspirants.
Yeah.
You will not see our thoughts until Friday this week. Needless to say, really fucking enjoyed that show.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. I like the music, but the strings are sticking in my head a little bit too long now. That's a day out, and I'm still hearing it. I was up to 5 a.m. and that was in my ear.
Oh,
and
dear.
I am actually going to fucking jump out that window if it doesn't leave my brain. So I like the music, but my god, man, it stuck around too long. Yes, I'm an MCU fanatic. There's been so much negativity. I have ranked all MCU projects number 1 now, just because I can't.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. I wish I could share. I've still not brought myself to actually watch Eternals. I can't do it.
No,
and, Chloe Zhao, brilliant director.
John, it's not a garbage.
Chloe Zhao, brilliant director. You didn't actually rate Nomadland, is that what she did?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. You rated it.
That was kitchen sink drama to me, and I don't mind kitchen sink drama, but it was as if the kitchen sink was fucking blocked.
Yeah.
With fucking rubbish. But John, it was just boring. It was just, there's a way to do it, and there's just a way to send people to sleep. That sent me to sleep. That film.
I rated it very highly. I think I gave it a B+ at the time. It's Francis McDormand. What more do you want?
Yeah.
Emma9988. If you could choose any celebrity to see get tickled, who would it be? Now this is a tough question. Who would it be? Part of me wants to tickle, or not me personally, but this is a strange one. Part of me wants to see Jack Nicholson getting tickled on the front court of a fucking LA Lakers game, just to see that belly getting tickled. The bum fluff coming out of that fucking belly button. If you've seen him these days, that man that's a man who's committed fully to strawberry milkshakes and burgers and pizzas. He just sits with a shirt a size too small, unbuttoned, belly hanging out. Probably him, but then there's a lot. Justin Bieber, he's quite arrogant and he'd hate it. You see, I thought that about Bieber. I was on the Bieber hate train for a long time, but then the man ended up with semi-paralysis in his face, and that changed my mind a bit about him. And then he's actually not that bad. He walks about with fucking barefoot and shit. He's actually quite a chill geezer, to be fair.
I'd love to see Tom Cruise getting tickled, because I really want to see his real fucking laugh, not that pretentious laugh that he does. That. Have you seen Ben Stiller impersonate him?
Yeah.
And he finishes all his sentences off. It's amazing. It's incredible. If you've not watched this.
Was he not in a fucking jet yesterday? Doing a bit for the coronation. Kidding on
I don't know. Was
he was in a fucking jet.
Cruise?
Kidding on he's a pilot again. I think he did. I mean, I like Tom Cruise. I do. I like him more than you, Stephen.
He grew up. Tom Cruise didn't.
Bieber, Bieber did grow up. Listen, I don't mind Bieber now. I don't. I'm still not a huge fan of his music. I can't lie.
Goes by the name of Miley Cyrus. Yeah.
I agree, but I still think Bieber would be a good choice. I think he sees the fun side of it all. Yeah, I don't know. Who would I like to see tickled? That's an interesting question. I have to think.
It's a very hard one, yeah.
Who would I like to see tickled? There's got to be somebody out there, hasn't there?
Someone that doesn't like smiling that much, or I don't know. Honestly,
Fucking hell, it's a tough one, isn't it?
It certainly is. Maybe Henry Cavill.
Well, I think a lot of women like to see Henry tickled. They'd like to tickle him. I don't know. I think you secretly actually like Justin Bieber. I think you're actually admitting here in this chat that you actually maybe do like Justin Bieber. You're saying that you hate. No, you think he's quite arrogant and you'd hate it. Maybe you do like him, I don't know. Sorry, spitting words. Ticklish people. Try to think of a female equivalent. Amy Schumer, just because she's a bastard. Probably her.
Alright, okay.
I can't fucking go her.
Okay.
I'm not having her. Just pick her.
Yeah.
Mike, maybe you can fling in someone who should be tickled. I don't know. Prince Harry's a prick. You can tickle him all night long if you want. He's just a bottom, and he's the most likeable of the royals.
Bottom.
It's like the best dressed man in Kazakhstan. It's not anything to write home about. The best of the royals. Prince Andrew, tickle Prince Andrew to see the fucker sweat.
I'll tell you who I'd love to see tickled. Yeah, he doesn't sweat.
He fucking sweats.
Meg Ryan.
I'd
love to see tickled.
Have you seen Meg Ryan recently? Oh my fucking god, she's like Michael Myers. Oh my god. A botched fucking facial reworking. They fucking turned her into Sylvester Stallone's mother. What's happened to her? She doesn't want rom-coms back. She ain't starring in no fucking rom-com now. I tell you that. It's over for her.
Yeah.
Done. But yeah, because sidetracked there, Steven, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Who would you like to see tickled in Star Wars?
Jabba.
Jabba.
the Hutt, yeah. Salacious B. Crumb.
Yeah. Doesn't take much for him to laugh, to be fair.
Yeah, he's a little prick, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't go him.
I'm done, by the way.
I loved it, man, when they were getting destroyed in that Mandalorian recent episode, when the pirates were taking pot shots at them in the trees. I'm like, you little bastards. Stephen, I did let something out the hat as well, didn't I, the other night? I don't know if you heard me when I was FaceTime the other night, in regards to Grogu. This maybe speaks volumes about the kind of individual I am. I think I may be a bit Christian Bale, American Psycho. I think I may have a slight psychotic streak. But I'll just be sitting watching maybe a Mandalorian episode, and Grogu will pop up, and I'm like, oh, little Grogu, he's great, brilliant little guy, isn't he? But then there's part of me deep down that thinks, I'd love to see him getting fucking booted across the room. I'd just love to see him getting fucking void. I think that, I don't know if that speaks volumes about me. I think that's maybe something deeply wrong with me. But yeah, there's part of me thinks at times, I'd like to see him kicked. Like, just booted across the room.
Fair enough.
And the force is not working, it's kind of switched off. Like, look, in Act 2. Jar Jar Binks, oh fuck no, Mike. Listen, I shit in Jar Jar, but what I don't tell you is I entered a competition to win a Jar Jar head thing with a tongue.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I won it. I got it. I had to fucking go out in the middle of nowhere to pick up this stupid fucking thing. It was like a sweet dispenser. When I was 10 years old.
Pez?
Come on, yeah, it was like a Jar Jar Pez head. I was 10 years old. Give me a fucking break. But I chat shit about Jar Jar, but I was a big fan of Jar Jar back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, I always wanted to stand on Jabba's tail, I suppose, just to see the reaction, just to see what it felt like as well.
Jar Jar's tail? I forgot you had a tail.
Not Jar. Jabba the Hutt. Oh, it's too late. It's time to call it a night.
Oh, it's like me.
You know that way that Han Solo
episode there, where I combined low-cash kind of garage with Anirud. Stephen pounced on it right away. I'm like, I'm going to cut that, but then I addressed it again at the end, so I had to just fucking leave it in. I'm cutting that. I'm not looking at it. I didn't
pounce on it. You confused me. See when you do because I rely on you for names, John, because I'm terrible with names. So when you said that, I went, I didn't know he did that.
Oh,
How
God.
did I not know that?
I couldn't get out.
It was like it was almost like you're a fountain of knowledge at times, and which is why what you say I take for obviously gospel. When you said that, I thought, I didn't even know that. That's terrible. So I said that out loud. Yeah. But yeah, Jabba's tail. I'd love to stand in his tail, not Jar Jar's tail. Not Jar Jar.
Yeah.
I think he's got a little sort of thing going on there. Back in his pants. Oh dear.
But yeah, kind of like, I thought that, Emma. I thought you did. I think it would be ticklish, yeah. I think most humans are ticklish. I think there's a certain spot, isn't there, where you just can't really do anything. But there's something incredibly alarming when you're maybe in a position to be tickled.
Do you know that?
We're not like dogs. We just fucking... We get assaulted in a certain spot.
I don't know the character's name, the Forger in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. He
needs a good fucking tickle. Can lighten up, yeah, weirdo.
Is that a fucking euphemism? A good tickle?
Oh dear. Oh,
Missus. She fucking needs
more
something.
Tea, Vicar.
It's interesting you said Justin is barefoot a lot. Every time I see pictures of him, he's barefoot. Very relaxed he is, yeah. Last time I seen him, I think he was walking through a park randomly with a hoodie and jeans, barefoot. I'm like, okay. Fair play to you, mate. But yeah, look, he's ballsy, I'll give him that. He's a very rich man too, and he can play the guitar very well. And I'll admit that this will torture Stephen's ears, but I actually quite like the Ed Sheeran one that he wrote for Justin Bieber.
I don't even know what that is.
If you like the way you look that much. That one. You should go and love yourself. I didn't mind that one, it was pretty good. Yeah. Who did you both choose? I chose Jack Nicholson.
I chose Tom Cruise.
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
But I think Meg Ryan,
Meg Ryan.
she's a dour sod.
Jack Nicholson's a poor one when I think about it.
Jack,
I think you just
he's
punched my
always
fucking head in, wouldn't you, if I
He's
tried?
always happy as well. It's like picking Adam Sandler or something like that, you know. Yeah, I
It's
think,
got to be somebody else, hasn't there? It's got to be.
Yeah, we'll have to do a tier system for that.
Yeah, most
Yeah.
ticklish celebrity. You know what? James Corden, because he's a fat. You know what? Yeah, probably him. I keep going for the fat beetle.
Yeah.
'Cause
Saw
he's
your
got
belly.
I saw your belly. Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart.
Oh
dear.
I always get him mixed up with Patrick Wilson and Swayze. Swayze's dead. Fucking wish he wasn't.
Oh
But yeah.
dear.
Poor little bald Patrick. Now, I'm bald, I can say it. I've got more hair than him, though, to be fair, and I have done from a younger age. I want to say Patrick was going in his early 20s. Right, anyway, we're going to round this up.
Yeah.
We're going to round it up, man, because we have got a cheeky little Oppenheimer reaction.
Yeah,
to do,
can't
and
wait to
I'm
see
gonna
it,
get
yeah.
out rapid. Choose who's arrogant and who you dislike. Oh, Tom Cruise, right away.
James
Arrogant
Corden.
bastard. It's James Corden. James Corden's getting kicked out of restaurants in New York because the waiter served fucking chips or something. Like, fuck are you? Gavin and Stacey, prick.
Yeah. Nah, I can't go on.
Off.
Can't
Clown.
go on.
Take that and your carpool fucking karaoke's with you. You can't sing, you know, bend. Stop trying. You
This is
can't
one
sing.
to watch again, I'm
It
telling
is. Choose who you beach to. I don't know. Yeah, he's a fat man. All fat men are ticklish. But I digress, man. I don't know what that means. Let's go now, though. What's your thoughts on Taika Waititi's Star
Oh,
Wars
dear.
plan still been on the table? You want to see Taika Waititi making a Star Wars movie? You want to see a Star Wars movie happening, period? Share your thoughts down below about that, about anything that's happening here. Share your thoughts about who you would like to tickle. What celebrity would you like to see tickled? That's something I never thought I'd be speaking about tonight.
Yeah.
But you know what, Emma? I'm glad you brought it in because it certainly fucking took the show off in a different direction. This is why we need to stream on Twitch more often, because you get things like this, and look, I'm all here for it. Share your thoughts down below about that. Would you like to see Jack Nicholson, James Corden, Justin Bieber, anybody? Who would you like to see tickled? I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts on that. Anywhere down below in the comment section is the place to put it. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Donald Trump as well, yeah. Donald fucking Trump. There you go, Stephen.
Yeah.
Joe Biden, just to see him like self-destruct because he's like a fucking robot at this stage. You know what he's like? He's like those fucking photographs from like 150 years ago where they used to photograph dead people and they'd set them up like ventriloquist fucking dummies. That's Joe Biden. I'm convinced he's dead. That photograph of Prince fucking Philip when he left the hospital like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He looked dead. His eyes were like fucking olives. That's what Joe Biden is just now. I'm convinced they've just got like an AI is voicing this guy. He's coming down after school shootings and talking about fucking ice cream. Joe Biden or Donald Trump tickled that fat tango man into fucking the void. Follow button, notification button over on Twitch as well. That's the place to see us doing my thing on a different platform over there. All that's left to be said is thank you for watching us, and until the next time, bye bye. Thank you for the comments as well. Thank you to, let's just scroll up. Thank you to Mike, like a warrior. He started this shit show off. I don't know if he's still here. Bro is rapping. I wish I could fucking rap. I can't. Shale can. Emma. Thank you to everybody that came in. I'll just keep fucking speaking here. I'm not ticklish, no, Emma. I wouldn't say even if I was. I don't know if Stephen's ticklish. I've never tickled Stephen, to be honest with you. I've never seen him tickled.
Yeah.
No, not that ticklish. Bye bye.